Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Money. Some people got to have it. Some people really need it. Do things, do things, do things, good things with it. Yes, sir, buddy. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yours truly, Uncle Luke podcast. I have been waiting to get on here and do a podcast. You know, I've been flirting around for the longest. People been telling me, look, they've been telling me to do this for like damn near 8 years. Like, Luke, you need to do a podcast. You do so much shit talking. You actually was the first person to do a podcast. And I know y'all probably tripping right now. Here go Luke with the bullshit. Talking about he was the first one to do a podcast. Well, let me tell you what I used to do. In a little group called the Two Live Crew. Let me get this shit going. See that guy back there? Where is he at? Right here. I got to get this shit right. You remember the song, Ain't That a Bitch? Somebody's doing something slick. Ain't that a bitch? And I used to just talk shit. That's what the fuck I'm going to do right on here. That is what I'm going to do on my own goddamn show. Right here. I used to do it on the records. I was the first one to do it on the records, but I'm going to do it right here on my own show. Yours truly, Uncle Luke, the Luke Show. We're going to have guests. We're going to have friends. We're going to have family members. I mean, hey, listen. I know y'all saw my little interview with VP Kamala Harris. You saw that one, huh? And if you haven't saw it, go to YouTube and pull it up. That's when I was the only celebrity that had faith in her that one day she would become the president of the United States of America, and she was running for office. She suspended her campaign, remember that. Suspended it. Not closed it. And now it is back open. Oh, this is so great. Let me tell you this, man. Let me tell you the little story how I met VP Harris. I wrote a scathing article. Let me just be honest with you. I wrote a scathing article. It was fucking hardcore. It was hardcore. Everything that everybody would say about her, I wrote it in the Miami New Times. I don't write for them anymore. They got scared of me because I'm a little too hardcore politically active. But that's a whole nother story. So I wrote this scathing article. All the bullshit, all about the dates and all about the locking brothers up and all that and putting them in jail. And before you know it, there was a couple of people that called me. And they say, Luke, that's bullshit. She is a beautiful lady, nice lady. You need to retract your story. I said, well, I'm not going to retract my story. But we had a conversation. I talked to Jamel Hill, my little sister. She called me up, straightened me out. That's the only person. Between her and Joy Reid, they'll call my ass up and be like, Luke, let me tell you this right here. And then you got Tangela Sears. They'll be like, Luke, let me tell you like this here. You need to XYZ. And so I was like, okay. Then my brother Bakari Sellers, because I got to introduce to him, called up, well, Mr. Campbell, you know that article that you wrote, that was a little scathing. And then this lady from Colgate, she jumped out there, had something slick to say, Simone Sanders. I do not like her. Because those two sisters and that brother got on the phone with me and said, Luke, let me explain to you about the article that you wrote. And I had a conversation with them. So I'm minding my own business. Me and my son, we out there to the park. I'm training him, getting him ready to play baseball. You know, we're out there hitting some balls. He's shagging some balls. It's hot as fuck. It is hot than a motherfucker out there, right? My son damn near about to pass out. I'm taking him to the brink, you know, because I am an old school coach. And the phone rings. Normally I don't pick up the phone, but we was on a little water break for him. And it was, you know, I'm looking at this strange number. And it was, hello, Mr. Campbell. This is Senator Harris. And mind you, I get calls from senators, congressmen, you name it, mayors, you name it. I get calls all the time. So this particular time, I picked up this strange number, which I don't normally pick up, and this is Senator Harris. Do you have a moment? I would like to talk to you about your little article. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, well, Ms. Harris, Senator, I don't normally stop, for conversations while I'm at doing daddy time. She said, well, you can call me back. And then my son was like, no, daddy, you can go and talk. Now, mind you, this dude's like 8 years old at that time. He's like, no, daddy, you could talk. He wanted me to talk because I was working his ass so fucking hard out there. Old school shit. Some of y'all don't know about that. Work your kids old school. So we began to talk about the article. She said, I saw you had some things you wanted to write about me. And I was like, well, Senator, I just, did a little bit of research in my news organization, did a little bit of research. And, yes, I did the article. And she said, well, let's go down the list of things that you spoke about. Without getting into all the details of it, we went down the list. Start talking about the things that I wrote in the article that everybody says the prosecutor putting people in jail and doing all these different things and all the other scathing things that people has to say about her. And before you know it, she was like, well, these how many people I put in jail. And these are the type of people I did put in jail. Then we started talking about all this other stuff. And then it became, well, Mr. Campbell, I was like, it became, let's talk about you as a person. Because the main thing was whether or not she was a Black woman. That was the main thing. Whether or not she was a Black woman and should we treat her like a Black woman. Just like some of these idiots on X right now do today. And I said, well, people think you're not, Black because you're Indian. I'm half Jamaican. I'm half Bahamian. You're half Bahamian. I think that's an idiotic conversation. But there are some Jamaicans and Bahamians who just really live the Jamaican and Bahamian life and not the African American life. So me and her having this conversation, I said, she was like, no, I'm a full-blooded sister. I'm going to tell you that right now. I went to HBCU, Harvard University, down the list. I ain't got to go through all the things. So we got into, well, Senator, you're running for president. I don't think the brothers are going to be happy about you taking their guns away because Democratic Party is all about taking the guns away, taking the guns. We want to take your gun. She was like, look, man, I got a 45. I don't want nobody taking my gun away because I explained to her that, when you live in the hood, you need your gun to be protected by the bad guys in the hood. Let's face it. Until we clean the hood up, then we need to deal with the issues of the hood and the bad guys that's in the hood. She said, I agree with that. And that's why I would not be the person who's trying to take guns away. So then we started having a conversation. She said, these are some of the things I want to do, Luke. She said the FICO score. Now, our people, when it comes to the FICO score, most of our people are renting. They don't apply that to the FICO score. Most of our people don't have credit cards. She say the only way we become homeowners is we got to get credit, which is understandable. We got to get credit. So I got to change that whole way of doing business by being able to use, your light bill, your phone bill, your rent, go towards your FICO score if you're paying that on time. So our folks could get out of the renting department and be able to do what? Be able to be homeowners. There's no sense in them paying $2,000, $1,500 in rent where they can be a first-time homeowner or a homeowner, period. It's like, I agree. I like this shit. Well, you don't want to take guns away. I like this shit. And so we just kept on talking, and then she said, Luke, now mind you, I did not bring this up because this was not on my radar. Reparations was not on my radar. She brought this up. She was like, Luke, let me explain to you. African Americans went off to war. and with white Americans. And when African Americans came back from war, they went back pretty much to slavery. White Americans were given homes, were given property, given land, and given money by the United States government. That's what I want to do. I have to repay these African Americans who went off to war, these slaves who were dragged over here from Africa. So she was actually talking about reparations. I'm like, oh shit. I like this right here. Now, mind you, I don't profit from reparations because my family members are not descendants of slaves. But I believe in reparations, and I think descendants of slaves deserve reparations. Folks who kin folks came over here and they plowed the field, they built the United States of America, and they deserve reparations. I believe in that. She mentioned this to me. This lady mentioned this to me. So we just talking and we vibing. And then I started messing with her. I was like, come on. Pretty light-skinned lady like yourself. You don't know nothing about being no sister. You just went to HBCU just to go to the HBCU. I say, do you know about a straightening comb? And she said, a straightening comb? The one you put on the aisle, and then you get your hair done in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, I was taken back by the fact that she knew something about a straightening comb. So then I'm checking her. I'm low key checking her. I say, Senator, you ain't no hardcore sister. I said, what you put in your greens? And she said, Luke, I could make a mean pot of greens. I put turkey in my greens. I said, oh, most people automatically throw the pork in the greens. I say, listen, since you know it, so how you prepare your yams? Now, mind you, I'm a chef. So you can't bullshit me because I was a chef for 7 years and a very good one, by the way. That's why I cook so good is probably the reason why it's hard for me to keep a woman, because I cook better than them. That's a whole nother story that we'll get into on the Luke Show. But to say all this, to say this, me and her became great friends. We became good friends to the point I went out on the road and campaigned for her. I got on the phone, started calling other celebrities. That's why I find it real funny for most of these celebrities who be posting their little old pictures of Kamala Harris and and all them back in the days. It'd be old ass, ugly ass pictures, because when I called them, they didn't pick up. None of them. Oh, well, Luke, I got something to do. She came down to Miami and did a fundraiser in which I attended. Luke, I'm coming to Miami to do a fundraiser. I said, okay, Senator, I'm going to help get some people over there. So I called a few people. People came over there and donated. Then I called some of the local officials. And they said, I'm doing something. I got something to do. I'm not available. Then I called some of the local, Stephen Hunter did show up. Oliver Gilbert did show up. Did he endorse her when she was running for president? No. But he showed up. There was a lot of elected officials in the Miami area that strangely had something to do. There was a lot of lobbyists that strangely had something to do. And I found it very funny. The same people that are right now with pictures of her and shit all on their thing and everything. It's so funny. Hey, listen, man. So I went on the road with her. We went. I say, Senator, you got to have a grassroots program, because, this is just my opinion. I ain't telling you what to do. You got to have a grassroots program. You got to be able to, Senator, you got to be able to reach out to these good folks, and you have to be able to, connect with the brothers in the neighborhood and the sisters in the neighborhood. Say, what do I need to do? I say, first place, you got to go to the barbershop. So that's why when you look at one of the interviews that I did with her, we were sitting in the barbershop. We were sitting at the hotel, just chilling in the lobby, and we were talking. We just vibed the whole way. And I was like, you got to go to these HBCUs. You know, that's where you're AKA. This is around football season. They got homecomings and things like that. And we was in South Carolina. She went to South Carolina State rivalry game and everything. So this lady understands the grassroots, but more importantly, she understands African Americans. The lady born in Oakland, California. It don't get no more hardcore than that. She went to an HBCU. She was a prosecutor. Now let's get on this prosecutor thing. Name me a prosecutor job is not to prosecute people who the police officers go in and do what? Arrest. The prosecutor don't go out and arrest people. Let me give you a civics lesson, a real short one before I go because I got to get on the road. Short civic lesson. Here it is. The state, House of Representatives, the senators, and the governor, they create the laws of the land, of that state, of that particular state. They take those laws, let's say marijuana, since we have this Kamala Harris conversation, take marijuana. The state says a joint of marijuana, you can get locked up. And they pass that through legislation. The House votes on it, the Senate votes on it, then the governor has to approve it. That new law gets passed down to every prosecutor in the state in which you live in. Now, the prosecutor then pass that information down to the police department, say, now you can lock people up for a joint. So the police officer locks a person up for the joint, then the prosecutor has to do what? Prosecutor got to do what now? They got to prosecute based on the laws that the state and the governor has signed. So it ain't the prosecutor who actually creates these laws. It's them reps, House reps. It's them senators. And it's your governor that signs it. That's why it's very important to take your ass out to the vote and don't listen to these damn people who talk about, I ain't voting, I don't know, and all that. Don't vote. Democratic Party ain't did shit for me. Don't go vote. That's the stupidest shit in the world. That's how you get fucked up. That's a whole nother show I'm going to get into. So when those laws come down, it is not Kamala Harris. It's not Kathy Rundle. It's not Janet Reno. It's not these people who they have a job, and if you don't prosecute based on what the governor has signed in law, based on what House legislators and senators and all of them have sponsored bills and got these shits approved, then as a state attorney, your ass will get removed because you're not enforcing the law. It's levels to this shit. So stop that. And my idiot ass had to do what? I had to get a civic lesson from the VP. And she explained that to me. And I say, God damn it, as deep as I am in the politics, I should have known that shit. But God works in mysterious ways. That's why it's my job right now to educate you all who may not know. So when you see Trump and all of them, she put people in jail. Civics. She didn't put nobody in jail. You can go look at Law and Order, and they'll show you how the law works. The police goes out, enforce the law. They take it to the prosecutor. The prosecutor then prosecutes the person. They'll either take up the case or they won't take up the case based on state laws. And when you break a federal law, then the feds come in and do what? They prosecute you based on federal laws. And you see a federal judge. Civics 101. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. This is Luke show number 1. Luke show number 1. Getting off with a fucking bang. This is going to be good. I'm so fucking excited. Because I'm going to be giving to y'all bloody fucking raw. I can't wait to start talking about sports, politics, entertainment, Drake, Rick Ross, all the rappers going to jail. Oh, God, I got so much shit to talk about. and so many people to interview. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I love you guys. Hey, make sure you tune in and follow me on Twitter, on X. Call it fucking X. I don't like Elon Musk. That's a whole nother show too. I got so many fucking shows to do on so many motherfuckers that I got to say something about. X, follow me on X. Uncle Luke Real One. Follow me on Instagram. Uncle Luke Real One again. Follow me on Facebook. Uncle Luke, Luther Campbell. Follow me on YouTube. You gotta like, share, love me, all that on YouTube. Twitch, I don't really be on that much. And then I be on fucking TikTok. I like TikTok. It's some of the most miserable people in the fucking world. That's a whole nother show too. I got so many fucking shows to do. I got so many shows to do. I mean, it's insane. University of Miami, politics, Donald Trump. Y'all, let me tell you about it. Everybody want to know the time I went to a Trump party. You're taken back by that. But I'm not going to tell. Don't worry about it, Donald. I'm not telling. When I was invited to Mar-a-Lago to a party many, many years ago, it was me, Eddie Murphy, and Mike Tyson. I'm not saying anything because one thing we don't do is talk about where we went, what we went, and how we went to. You don't do that. That's rule number one. That's hood rule number one. You don't talk about parties in which you attended, but I did leave. By the way, I'm gonna leave on that note. So until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is yours truly, Uncle Luke. I am